Wasn't anything big. They did shut the airport down. I think it's still closed. I'm not 100% sure on that. But unlike TV, where it's just Puerto Vallarta, where it's a complete nightmare. The airport was shut down. There was shootings. They were blowing up hotels. I mean, all kinds of shit happened there. Very bad shit. And I got a friend of mine who lives in Sayulita, who I was going to be down there next weekend, actually going through Puerto Vallarta, and he can't get back to his home because they blew up the roads, destroyed the roads between Puerto Vallarta and Sayulita. So he's stuck there. He's actually in Mexico City right now, but he can't get back to Puerto Vallarta to get home because the airport's closed. Number one, number two, even if he got there, he couldn't get to his house in Sayulita. So yeah, I'm sure that's happened to a lot of people have been stranded throughout the country because it's really been it's a mess down south
Well,
still.
we're not, and your sound is something else with that wind on the beach.
Sorry, let me see. Wait till I get down there. Once I get down there, I will be hopefully
Oh,
a
that's
little bit
fine.
better.
I'll just do the talking over the sound of the wind to give a little
Yeah,
context to what's happening here, and you're going to flush it out for us because I didn't really know a lot about what happened
sure.
down in Mexico, but
Yep,
the everyday junglist is down in Tijuana heading for the beach.
I can tell.
For it or what?
No,
But
it's not that bad. Not that bad yet. So,
but we were
yeah.
really concerned up here that there was something bad going down. And I'm
Oh,
going to
yeah.
quote you. I'm going to quote you the message that got me to say, "Hey, let's go live and discuss this." You said you find it very ironic that the U.S. could collapse the economies of and/or destabilize and/or topple the governments of North Korea, Mexico, Russia, and China without firing a single bullet or running any sophisticated military or intelligence operations. It would only take one very simple thing: the complete and total legalization of all drugs, I guess.
That's right. I did say that. I,
And the
I do
fact
believe
that
that.
no one in power would ever seriously consider such a move speaks volumes. And none of the things it says are any good. That's your view from yesterday, I think. Yeah.
That was yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's. I don't think that's all that much of a surprise to many people. Those countries are all heavily involved in the drug trade. They profit significantly from it,
Right.
and they would basically at least some of those countries, in particular Mexico, relies on the money they make from that trade to basically fund their economy. So it's a sick world. It's a difficult position to be in, especially if you're someone like Scheinbaum, who I have the utmost sympathy for, and I really think she's trying to do the right thing here because I think she was put in a position here. So basically, what happened was there was a mountain hideout in the state of Nayarit, which is south and on the mainland. Basically, they called it like a killer training camp is what they were calling it. I don't know what it actually was, but it was a cartel hideout basically
Not,
for New Generation, not New Generation Jalisco, which is one of the two major cartels running Mexico, or parts of it at least. The
yep.
other one is Sinaloa cartel.
Yep.
So they had New Generation Jalisco had this hideout, as they call it. And it wasn't a hideout. Everybody knew about it, obviously. And they were training killers there, is what they said. So it was an assassin training camp, is what the
Who was
media is
saying
saying.
that? Who said that?
The media basically. So the news media are saying it was an assassin training camp. The Mexican news media and the U.S. media are saying this was an assassin training camp. And maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But there was a lot of people there, and they were bad guys, right? So they're all cartel people. Anyways, they got bombed. They got destroyed. I mean, they got attacked. Military style operation, completely leveled. There was no call for prisoners. There was no, you
Oh,
come out with your hands up. It was destroyed. It was absolutely, and there was no quarter. Everyone was killed. So it was 175 people at least, including teenagers and such. I bet a lot of people were killed. And of course, it's Mexico. Presumably, it was a Mexican operation, is what the media is saying. Now, of course, there's going to be coordination with the U.S. on something like this. I gotta believe, and I honestly think that Sheinbaum had no choice because if she hadn't agreed to this, what's going to happen is they're going to do it anyways. The U.S. Then they're going to accuse her of not cooperating, and they're going to put boots on the ground, Marines in Mexico, and that's the worst thing that could ever happen as far as Sheinbaum's concerned, and from my perspective as well. That would be an absolute nightmare because it would create unbelievable chaos. So she basically had no choice. I mean, she had to say yes to this. And I think they're killing bad guys, right? So these are not good. These are not good people. No one's saying these people were good people. These are cartel people. These people are killers.
well, there is a rule
But
of
this,
law thing, though, that we supposedly have where we arrest people and put them on.
yeah,
But
typically yes. That's
we heard of that.
yeah. That I have that was not the case in this instance. And people are applauding that. They're saying finally they're getting tough. and whatever, and that's fine. I mean, they're getting tough, but the problem here is the major problem with this, and I'm sure Scheinbaum told the administration this, the Trump administration. I gotta believe she said this. This is going to create chaos and disorder throughout the country. But number two, the bigger problem is it's going to empower Sinaloa cartel. This Sinaloa is way, way more brutal and way more dangerous than New Generation Jalisco. So the problem we have here, the major problem is that this, sure, the operation was a quote success, but the success is creating chaos and havoc and empowering a cartel that is much more dangerous. So these and a bunch of innocents killed at the same time. So to me, it's it's typical of U.S. foreign policy these days. A complete disaster. You look tough, but you completely ruin all your strategic objectives have not been met, and you've just made the situation considerably worse. So I don't see any way that this kind of a thing makes anything any better. It just, other than some bad guys are dead, I guess. So it's just really just a stupid move. And I cannot wrap my head around what the fuck these people are thinking, other than they want to create chaos just for chaos sake, because I can't see any other reason to do this. It's just, yeah, it makes no sense. If in my own life it's created significant chaos, because now I can't leave the neighborhood. The streets of Tijuana are not necessarily safe to be driving on right now. Definitely not at night. Yeah, it's just, it sucks. In my neighborhood it's a unique situation, and it's just a unique situation. I think I am somewhat protected here, but most people maybe aren't, and I just don't know what's going on in the wider Tijuana at the moment, other than the little scraps I've heard, which is that things are not that bad. But I just don't know. I have friends at Cabo. They've said one reliable friend there thinks that Baja Norte, the state I live in, is going to be the epicenter where if there's issues, this is where it's going to be. And I understand that the reason for that. It's disputed territory. It's New Generation, Jalisco, and Sinaloa both claim parts of this state. And so now New Generation's been weakened. Sinaloa is going to want to take advantage of that. All kinds of hell could break loose because of that. So we'll just have to see. And right now, my wife stayed home from work today, which
Okay.
I think was a smart move.
Yep.
The border is open, so people are crossing into the U.S. Mexico closed the border into Mexico last night for about 6 hours, which created a major problem for some people. But they reopened it this morning. And my understanding, last I heard, is that both borders are open in both directions, and they're moving slowly. And if it were me, I would not want to be in that line waiting to cross into the U.S. because you're essentially a sitting duck in that line. You are, it is, and it's obvious which line has all the Americans in it because it's the Century line, right? It's the line with the fast pass or whatever. So if you're stuck in that line, and which you will be really slowly, to me, it's a very dangerous place to be. And I think because of that, the traffic is probably late at the border, is my guess today. Because I think most people are pretty smart and they recognize that's not a very smart place to be right now. So, but the other problem is my wife's got to go back to work tomorrow. It really has no choice in the matter. So she's going to be, in danger now. And it really pisses me off. You guys, I'm really upset about this, Hal. I kind of felt like something like this was going to happen, but I just didn't. I just didn't think that. I thought cooler heads would prevail, and that such a dumb decision would not be made without thinking it through. Really, and I don't know why I thought that. I should have known better.
Well,
But
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, like they're just taking on to that. What's we've been doing out in the Caribbean. And I just said this. The place. Long.
yeah.
It didn't. It's something else.
Sorry, man. It's the wind is really howling down here, and I'm a little nervous to be walking around the neighborhood and
I'll
talking.
bet.
Yeah,
I would be.
hold on a second. I gotta grab my dog. Hold on a second.
Okay. Well, what we're listening to is the everyday junglist out on the Pacific Ocean near Tijuana, where he lives, and the events have impacted him and making him feel unsafe. And apparently, a lot of people feel unsafe, and a lot of people have been made dead. I was commenting that it sounds like, and I don't know much about this situation. Let's me just caveat it with that, but it sounds like a Mexican operation, perhaps supported by the United States, has gotten a number of people, including El Mencho, I think it is said, here in
Yes, that's his name.
yeah,
That's
El Mencho and the cartel boss has left dozens dead, according to the New York Times. It's a lot more, right? You're looking at hundreds.
Yes, it's about 175 plus is the number I saw.
It's about 25 National Guard have been killed as well.
That I was not aware of. That's new information for me. If that's true,
I don't know
I
if
did not
it's
hear that.
true or not. That's everything. It's really not at speed. But I do think the National Guard of Mexico is going to have itself in a sort of shooting with
Well,
cartel.
they already are. They they,
Yeah,
they moved into Puerto Vallarta after the events in Puerto Vallarta, which there was complete chaos and mayhem there. They came in and they basically took over the city. They're trying to. So there's a active, active military gun battles going on in Puerto Vallarta at the moment between military police and the cartels,
and the
and it's
cartels are
complete
well
chaos.
armed, right?
Oh, very well, very well armed, almost as well or better in some cases than the military and police. So it's a pretty even war, I would say, at the moment. So
Yeah,
now I'm guessing U.S. support, is probably being had at least from in the air and with intelligence. I'm sure. So I
there's
think the
definitely
Mexican,
a shelter in place thing out right now. So I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
shocking, really, and of course, it is like I was saying earlier. It seems to me, land versus what was happening in the Venezuela situation, and when we're seeing those Navy actions, our own Navy, without any capture, even if they're survivors, don't capture them. Go ahead and kill the survivors. This is kind of like unprecedented in my experience. Although, man's inhumanity to man keeps on going. I hope that you
yeah. I mean,
keep out of the line of fire.
it's the military style of doing things. It's not the justice, it's not the civilian justice style of doing things, and that's okay in some cases, and you do need that in some cases. And maybe this is one of those. But the problem is, it's not about in my opinion, I understand your objections to the tactics, and
Right,
I'm not a big huge fan either. However, my bigger problem is with the strategy because the strategy is shitty. It makes no sense,
right,
and it's
right.
completely counterproductive in so many
And then
ways.
plan
I don't care what the tactic is.
or lack of
It's
plan.
just like well, it's not. It's just not, the planning was good. I mean, they executed the mission. Everybody was killed, like exactly what they wanted to do. But the problem is the outcome is so shitty that there's so. It doesn't matter how well the operation is executed, and the thing works great which it did, because you've achieved nothing. And in fact, you've gone backwards because you've empowered a cartel now in Sinaloa that is much more brutal and much more dangerous than New Generation Lisco. I mean, New Generation Lisco had as their leadership mostly ex-military, ex-police, is my understanding at least of Mexico. They were business oriented, they were business friendly, they wanted to improve the economy. They were these things that you think of when you think of like, the best you can get of organized crime, which is not all that great, but when you don't have government to step in, it's better than nothing. But Sinaloa, what you have is basically LA street gangs, thugs who are out there trying to kill people because it's fun and for profit. It just and I it just, and they're just the tactics are so brutal, and I guess they're a good match for each other right now because it just makes no sense to me, man. I mean, I get it. They're both. I'm not trying to stand up for a new generation like they're something like they're good people or anything. 'Cause they're not. They just. I mean, at the end, the result is that exactly. That is the result. Sinaloa is strengthened. New generation, the list goes weakened big time. And again, they were the less brutal. Not that they weren't both brutal. Not that they both aren't terrible people. Not that they both aren't obviously criminal organizations. But
Right.
man, you got to make a choice. It's a real world here. This is
Well,
real world. You can't
well,
just
it's
say,
like
"Oh,
when we
all bad
remove.
guys must die." I
Well,
mean,
it's like when we remove Saddam and then
yeah,
disarmed his army.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
If we left
yeah,
this army in place and the order could have been kept
yeah, yeah,
in Iraq,
yes,
decided to disarm them, not give them jobs,
yeah,
and with their
yeah.
lists, what's in it for them not to try to fight back?
I just, yeah,
Organize
it,
and
it makes you
what?
think that the people, it makes you think the people in power that really chaos is their objective because that's what this is creating, and
Well,
there's
right. I think that might be something
no
to
vision
that.
of order.
I don't know.
It's
Let's
it's
just be
just
clear, folks, for getting people, logging on to hear more about what's happening with the everyday junglist down in Tijuana. He's not got his camera on and there's a wind. He's safe in the Pacific Ocean and not in the Pacific
not
Ocean.
not in the ocean yet. Yeah, yeah, I'm close. I'm close. I'm not on
So,
it now. I mean, I'm looking at some activity down here. I just a little
but
bit.
we're thinking, is chaos the point? It is a big distraction. A lot of fireworks, right?
I can't see it. I don't know what if it's a distraction or chaos was the result for sure, and I don't see any positive outcome
Oh,
here at all.
yeah.
I s- Other than the death of one cartel leader, which I guess is a positive outcome. But the problem is, compared to the alternatives, he's like a saint. So it's like, and we've empowered the alternatives. So it's like you kill. I don't know. I don't even know how to analogize it, but you kill Lucifer to put the devil in power. I don't know I don't know how you put that what the right analogy is, but man, you can't. You gotta be smarter than that if you're a smart country and a smart foreign policy. I don't. I mean, they have to know this stuff. I mean, they're not stupid. I mean, maybe they are stupid, but I mean, I know this stuff, and I live here. I mean, it's not. I'm no genius. I'm no foreign policy whiz. I just talk to people on the ground here, and I listen to people,
Right.
and it's just like, what the fuck are these people thinking?
Exactly. And that's what I'm asking
I,
too. And I know you're not a farm expert, neither am I. Let's have full disclosure on that. But we can see the
yeah,
world evolving around us, and we see the kind of chaotic things that happen. You can read Google News, so I don't trust the nation, and it goes on, right? So that meanwhile, we have the Dow has slid, it's a sell off going on related to the tariffs. We've got El Mencho, though, former police officer, co-founded the
yes, ultra
non-effective
violent.
of all of
Fairness,
the cartel.
it's still that's exactly one that's just been empowered, which is Sinaloa, not even close.
There it
In
is.
fact,
Found
you know,
BBC is reporting at least 25 National Guards killed in the violence after the death of a Mexican drug lord.
yeah,
So that's where I
that's
got
got to
my
be in
information. BBC.
That must be it. That must be in Fort Vallarta. Yeah, there was a major military operations there after what happened. So, and there's the shootings in the airport. The airport was complete chaos in Puerto Vallarta yesterday. And I go through there. I use that airport fairly often because I spend a little bit of time in Sonny. Yeah, I was supposed to be there next weekend. Actually, I will probably won't be going. I don't think because the roads have been destroyed, completely bulldozed, is my understanding, between Puerto Vallarta and Sayulita, Mexico, and so it's like there's no chance to get. And of course the airport's closed and big parts of it were destroyed. Airplanes were set on fire. There was gun battles in the airport. It was really complete chaos and mayhem there. And I don't know how many civilians were killed, if any, but I'm sure it was bad.
Okay, let's see any civilian deaths. This one's it's set to attack.
Yeah, so there's probably not any numbers. If there are any numbers, they're probably not very accurate at this point.
No,
But
we have to do what we can to try to get the actual numbers. Current situation, slashes, burning, blah blah blah. Deaths of the operation reports range 62 to 73 plus. Okay. Anchorage Daily News. I don't know how Anchorage got that data.
I don't know either. And pretty far away. I saw
Breakdown is
175.
nice
That's
to
what
know the Alaskans care, right?
they're on top, right? They're on top of things out here in Mexico. That's good to know. I feel better. I feel much better about the situation. Thanks to the Anchorage Daily News.
I'm going to make it think harder about this. Ongoing cartel violence. Thinking about that. It's going to be a little while before I get to sit down. That wind is whipping.
I know. Every time I turn my head, I'm gonna try to find a more sheltered spot here. How to make this a little better, but it's hard because the beach is like wide open here, and it's a really windy day.
Well, I'm glad you get on. I mean, you just hit me up at 4:05. It's like, do now? I was like, okay, fine, let's get on.
Yeah,
No problem.
don't.
Recording straight off
Yeah, I
of the
did,
beach at the coast. Yeah.
and I really didn't walk through the neighborhood, but I was a little unclear. I really didn't want to do that for various reasons, but we see talking and about this sort of thing on the streets here. I just didn't want to take the chance. Not that there's any risk here. I don't think, but better safe than sorry. So I think last night we were definitely a little bit worried last night. My wife and I, there were rumors, all kinds of rumors flying about different things, and yeah. Anyhow, fortunately we
Wait
have,
for about a lot of drama to the recording.
it's reporting. Yeah, it's reporting. All right. I'm no reporter. I'm no
You're
reporter. I
my
just live here.
correspondent.
Sure.
Minneapolis. So
That's right. Yeah, I got all the great. For some reason, violence seems to be
and I
following me
got to
around
look
here.
at
What's going on with
in your rental car.
this? Right. People love that. I don't know what the deal is with violence and wherever I'm going these days. It's like I'm trying to avoid it. I try to avoid violence at all costs, but it seems to be following me
Well,
around.
I've had a microcosm kind of experience about that just today. I won't go into it right now. I don't think I will ever go into it. It's kind of embarrassing. So petty, so stupid. Let me perhaps negative attention.
By being on the show. Were you doing the show at the time, or are you just walking?
That I mean, it was actually something on Zoom, but it doesn't matter. It's but the idea of me being the nicest guy on the Substack,
Yes,
it's really
you are.
strong of a lot of people are concerned. A lot of people think I'm the devil himself.
What?
I tell you,
Are you kidding me? Who could think that? Who could think that?
I know, right? Right.
Maybe the U.S. State Department. U.S. State. I don't. People at the
Yeah,
U.S. State
and the
Department
nuclear
might think
problem
that.
up here. I went for a lethal blast
I
it,
don't know. They seem.
make up heart, and
Well,
that
they're wrong.
that gets
We
in a
know.
lot of trouble. Man, you don't want to do that. What I said? We are
No one thinks that about me.
unlistenable.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I'm trying to get. I'm almost off the beach here. I think I'll get better here in a second.
I'm sure anything would be
Oh,
better than this.
we're getting there.
It's a
I
little
didn't realize
better.
how windy it was actually.
it
Yeah.
was it was howling a gale, but you know it's we've had a blizzard on the East Coast. You heard about that?
Did you really? It's snow. It's actually snowing right now.
Not in D.C., but north of here, up New Jersey,
Ah,
New York City, Boston.
yeah.
They are getting it, man, and they earned it.
It's that. It's that time of year.
Actually, some of the
Well,
people who
60.
think I'm evil are up there.
it's, it's 70 and sunny here. Well, maybe 68. But it's quite
But
nice.
that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think it's in the 30s here, but I'm not sure how high. I've got a nice set of wood there to build myself a fireplace. I love burning wood. You know, last time
Yeah.
when you were in Minneapolis, I was filming my fireplace while you were filming your couple. To
Let's see. I thought that was like a one of those like a background. I thought it was one of those like backgrounds you get off online or something. That was an actual fireplace.
yeah, no, that was my fireplace. Yeah, here in the
Ah, I see.
bunker. I live
See.
in a bunker in DC to try to ride out the apocalypse. If anybody not familiar with passing
Well,
through.
I gotta tell you, DC is the wrong place to be for that.
The apocalypse?
Yes,
Why?
you're gonna be right in the center of it.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it, right? That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah,
You know, when I was growing up,
right.
I was in Williamsburg, Virginia, as you know. I'm wearing my pipe and drum hat.
Yeah, nice.
Anyway, um, back then in 83, you know, when we were at a drop off, I don't know if
Yes,
we're old enough or
Yuri and
young.
drop off. I don't really remember, but I've heard the name.
Man, you're at a drop off and what's his name? Reagan. They got right up to the edge. And
Yes, they did.
ABC new ABC movie of the week or what was called The Day Out.
Oh, I've seen it, man.
Dude, what it'd be like.
That's a
You know what?
scary ass movie, man. That movie freaked me out when I was a kid, big time.
Right. Exactly. And that was the thing to freak you out. And it
It
did not
did.
have a happy ending. And actually, when they
No.
rolled up the credits, they said, "This is probably a pretty bright scenario.
Yeah, right.
It probably
Yeah, dude.
much worse."
They were doing. That's when we were doing the duck. Were doing the duck and cover drills in schools. They're like, oh yeah, if the nukes come, you gotta get under your desk. Like it's gonna help you. I loved it. They're like, okay, this doesn't seem like it's gonna help. Getting under my desk.
Now, you might be able to survive the flash then, but then you'd have to deal with the radiation listening.
Right, that's right. Puking your
So,
guts
and
out
I
to
was
see it.
sitting there right there. You know, it's the biggest concentration of military power in the world, right around
And
Williamsburg. You got
really, I did not know that.
Norfolk Naval Weapons, Norfolk Naval Base,
Right.
Yorktown Naval Weapons Station, Camp
Yeah.
Terry, where we do the rendition of all the CIA stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
If you ever get taken in, you may end up being my neighbor down in Williamsburg.
That's not gonna happen, Hal. I'm not gonna be taken in by anybody.
You're not going to be taken. They're not going to be able to take you alive. I don't know that.
I'm not gonna be taken. No, it
Doing
would not
advanced.
need to be.
You need to talk about your advanced research on phages too before we get off the air.
Oh man, yeah. Advanced. I don't know how
Is that
advanced
going
it is.
good?
But yeah, I mean it's a long story. It's going okay. I have a product idea, and I'm trying to get it actually. Hell, I can't say a lot about it at the moment, Hal. So
Of course not.
I don't want to get myself in too much trouble. So all I'm gonna say is that we have some ideas. They're pretty good ideas, I think. We're gonna try to get a product out there quickly that I think is gonna be very useful for some certain segments. and so and if that goes well, then things will be, I think, pretty nice from there on out. But we got to get this one thing out there, and so I'm mostly focused on that. And it's small potatoes. It's nothing big time. It's going to be at a market that's not big time, and We'll see. But we only need a little bit. We just got to get a little bit of momentum, and I think we're in good shape. The technology is solid. I really like it, and I think it's going to do a lot of good. We'll see. We'll
Phages
see.
are, for people who don't know, they're like
Viruses,
viruses on bacteria.
viruses that infect bacteria. That's correct. Only bacteria. And yeah, but they
And
are.
rocks don't have phages, right?
What's that? What do not rocks? Do not
Rocks don't
know.
have any phages, so they're
They do not.
not living.
Only they infect only living things. Viruses only infect living things. But there are
Yeah,
no living thing. No, but there are no viruses that are infected by other viruses. And people say viruses are not living things. And I talk about this at length, at nauseum. I think about it constantly.
I know.
As,
I always like
I
to get
can't
you
stop.
started. No,
Yeah, I can't stop thinking about that. The problem because it's such an interesting concept because the whole gap it bridges that evolutionary gap between the living and the non, life and non-life. Because
right?
you have these phage, which are viruses, which are not alive technically, according to the current paradigm. Yet they're only infecting things which do live, are living. And
Well,
with all the
isn't it
with,
possible that some of the DNA that's in our cells is actually viral, but it's now taken up permanent residence?
oh, it is, it absolutely is. That's not just possible. That's the case. We know that for a fact. And
Okay,
many,
good.
in fact, phage and viruses, you were correct, are were responsible for trans. That's one of the main things they did was move genes around. And they still do that today. And among bacteria, and genes get shuttled back and forth because of these phage, and it's a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, they can move good genes around, but they also move around antibiotic resistance genes and different things that we don't necessarily like so much. So, but back on the early Earth, I mean, it depends on what your view on evolutionary history, but the RNA world hypothesis, that life came from RNA originally, and then you have phages were one of the earliest life forms, although they're not really alive, but neither were ribozymes, which were presumably the precursors of all life.
Yep.
But again, it's like it's weird. Then all of a sudden, something's alive. So what is that cutoff between life and not life? That's where I always get so interested because there's always a first of everything, right? What was the first thing that was alive? It's such an interesting question to think about, and there's
Yep.
really no way to answer it. But there was something though, right? There had to be something, even though life is sort of a human definite. We sort of define it in the way we want to define it, based on however we want to define it. There was one thing that was the first one. So what was it? That's what that's really what I want to know. So I've always wanted to know what is that? What was that thing? The
Well, you
very
didn't
first thing we
watch
would.
Star Trek: The Next Generation, then, right?
I did watch it. I did watch that show. Yes.
You remember when Q sent
Yeah.
Picard back to that
Yeah.
moment when
Yeah.
whatever was
Yeah.
going to happen was going to happen?
Uh huh.
That was
Yeah.
real, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. They nailed it.
And then
As
it
usual,
didn't
Star Trek got it.
happen, and as
All
a
right.
result, no life.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, it wasn't exactly like that, but it's pretty close. It's actually pretty close.
It
It
was
really
pretty
was.
interesting. I love that
It's been,
show. I love
it was a good
Q
show.
in particular because Q was such a scamp. Yeah.
Scamp.
Yeah.
Scamp. I don't know if I've heard that word. It's a scamp. Sorry, I'm in the car now, so it should sound a lot better. I'm actually heading home.
All right. You sound great. And this part of the biology lesson is really wonderful. So I wrote scamp into grok. Scamp is a fun, versatile word with few. Oh, damn it! It scrolled.
It's a, a
A
fun,
fun,
versatile
versatile
world.
word with a few main meanings and popular uses, mostly playful or adventurous vibes. As a
I
noun, it
see.
means a mischievous rascal or impish person. And I consider
Ah, there
myself
you
to
go.
be an imp, right?
Okay.
Especially a cheeky kid who's naughty, but in an endearing way. Think,
Ah.
that little scamp stole my cookie and grinned about it.
That's similar. I consider myself to be a pimp, so it's pretty close. But
A pimp.
I'm kidding. I'm
Okay,
kidding.
you gotta
I'm kidding.
explain that.
I do not consider. I'm kidding, dude. Obviously, I'm joking. No, I don't consider myself to be a pimp.
Your wife is gonna be interested to know this, I think.
Yeah, she will be. Yes, yes, of course.
Pimp,
I,
imp, they're kind of similar. Um,
they are.
yeah. Anyway, it goes on and on talking about this concept of the little scamp stole my cookie and grinned about it. Dictionaries like Merriam-Webster and Cambridge describe it as a rogue, scalawag, or playful troublemaker. That's great
I see.
words.
I have to
Scalawag.
use that. Yeah, I like that one too. I have to use both those words more.
So
So
you weren't familiar with scamp before me.
I'm
Okay.
sure I've heard it. I'm sure I've heard it, but I
Right.
just
Right.
never really put two and two together in my head. But the garbage did come today, which is a good sign of normalcy. That was because today's garbage day in the neighborhood, and I was a little
We
worried that the
had
garbage would not go,
we had
but it did come.
housekeeping come in for the first time in like 3 weeks. No, 3 periods. They should have been here. Like from February 1st on. I've been
Is the
I've been
government shut
there
down
since
now, Hal?
January.
Is the government shut down now, Hal? I don't actually know.
I
In
don't
the U.S., is it
know. Let's see.
officially shut down?
Is the government shut down? Shut down, and I'll specify now.
I
So
heard there was they tried to close global entry and they closed
I heard
like
the
all this shit. Then there was some
VHS was being defunded. Ah,
yes,
yes. As
yeah.
of February 23rd, blah, blah, blah. And it scrolled. So I'm scrolling back up for it. Wait for it. The US government is partially shut down, but it's not a
Partially.
full government wide shutdown. The funding lapse
Okay.
specifically affects the Department of Homeland Security, which began on February 14th, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. DHS is shut down after Congress
Okay.
failed to pass a new appropriation bill amid a partisan standoff over immigration enforcement reforms, particularly
Of course.
related to ICE operations and guardrails on enforcement.
I see. I see.
Yeah, they
That's
don't
right. 'Cause
like them shooting American citizens in the back.
they want that's right. They're going to force them to take their masks off, and also provide identification, all this other stuff, which they did not like that the idea of that.
You want the key details or no?
I think I'm good with that. I think that's all I need to know. I think I
Yeah, you
get the
can look
picture.
up the rest and read it if you want to. I mean, the Alex Pretty killing was one that really got him. I mean, he did kick
Yeah.
out a taillight of a CBP
Yeah.
vehicle apparently sometime before, but
Ah.
you know, you
That's
don't
not death.
kill somebody
Typically
over
that's not
that.
typically that's not an executable offense.
I don't think
Typically,
so. No.
historically, historically that's not been a death sentence. Kicking out a tail light.
And at
But
some level or another, the accountability still isn't there. And this reminds me of Kent State to some extent.
yeah, yeah,
And, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
I'm I mean, Bruce Hornsby's
yeah.
now not Bruce Hornsby. Bruce Springsteen wrote a song about Minneapolis, didn't he? It wasn't very good, I didn't think. But then again, it was like quick turn. I thought Ohio was much better. Neil
I
Young.
think you're. I mean, I think your '60s illusions or whatever is. But I don't see. I just don't see. The,
You don't see the similarity?
well, I don't. But I don't see the people that you need. Hello.
No, well, you don't see the people stepping up
Yeah, I
to
just don't
be
see the people
able
stepping up. Like I just don't see that the younger generation, let's call it, that have that sort of motivation to be involved like that. And it's like they've been completely demotivated and they've
no,
been completely sidelined. And I'm not
and
sure exactly
no doubt.
why. Or
I think
yeah, they
video
just don't care.
games yeah, I think a
Maybe
lot of it's
I
like
don't know.
it's all just like a video game anymore. You remember
Or it's
Gulf War
technology.
One? I mean, that was my generation.
I
You
do.
guys were
I
out.
remember.
And
I
that
remember
was
that.
like a video game. And we get to the point where we're kind of inured to it. And I'm scared for that
Yeah,
because I do think we need to be a kinder, more compassionate world. I think we've
yeah, I'm
got
with you.
principles we're supposed to live by, and we don't. And when I say
Yeah.
that, people hate me.
for not for saying to live by principles. Yeah,
Well,
yeah, I
yeah,
don't know.
we know what these principles are we should be living by and treating each other
Yeah,
well. Yet we fail to do it repeatedly. And my wife says, "Oh, when you start talking about how we're all personally responsible, every cent spent is a vote for the kind of world we're co-creating," she feels kind of
yeah,
called out by that. And I'm like,
yeah.
"Good,
Well, people are,
yeah."
yeah, and it does call people out, and it makes people uncomfortable. Nobody wants to be made uncomfortable, which is why I'm not
I don't want to be uncomfortable. That's right. That because after all,
like
you know,
that's my favorite thing to do is make people uncomfortable.
let the
My
world
wife hates
light
it.
itself up, right?
Yeah, I
And
just
but as long as I'm
yeah.
comfortable, as long as I warm myself by the burning world,
People
I'm
are
good.
way too comfortable. Way too comfortable is the problem.
We can go out to Burning Man though and live our principles, right? You know,
Yeah, yeah,
there's a lot of people out there who get away by going to Burning Man. Have you ever been
yeah.
there? You know what
I
I'm
have
talking about?
not. I know what you're talking about, but that's like one of these normal technology type gathering at this point, or no, or is it not?
I don't know
Am
what
I
it is
thinking?
anymore. I just knew that they burned this man, right?
They
And
do, but usually it's like a
then they
tech
take
elite.
everything out. They bring everything in, and it's all a shared economy.
Uh,
Everybody's bartering or whatever for whatever they need, and everybody takes care of
right.
everybody else, and they get up to
Yeah.
whatever they want to get up to, and it's very free, and it's
But it's
all in
also
desert, and then they leave, and they make sure they leave nothing behind, which is a
maybe that was
nice
it
idea.
originally, but
Yeah,
it's also I think it's also been taken over by the tech elite, and it's the richest of the rich that go there to that party all week or whatever it is, and then it looks good and sounds good, but the average person, can't go, can't afford to go,
it's
wouldn't want
been
to go because there's a bunch
co-opted.
of yeah. So I don't know if it's been co-opted. Maybe it was that way from the beginning, but it's just always been like at least from my understanding, sort of a technology elite hangout spot. But maybe my
Yeah, how
understanding is
about that?
incorrect.
That's
I've not
nice.
gone, so. I could be
Yeah, so
wrong.
what are we gonna do about those suckers?
Which
I
ones?
mean, all of us. I don't know. Am I not part of the tech elite? I'm distressed now. I thought I
You are
was.
not. You're not the tech wajee, I like to call them the tech wajee. That's what I like to call them. The new bourgeoisie, the tech wajee. Tech wajee. It's hard to say that word. Tech wajee. But anyways,
Yeah, I'm going for
it
a
is
job at, Daily Provisions down the block. They have a good ethos. Employees
daily provision.
first, customers second.
What is daily provisions? Is that a grocery store?
No,
What?
it's like a cafe.
Oh, cafe.
Yeah.
I see.
It's open
Okay.
like 7 in the morning till like 9 at night, and it
Okay.
has shifts, and I'm hoping I'll get a shift to be front of the house staff, but I don't know. I did a
And
little
what was?
trail, for a couple hours with the guy who was running the front of the house,
Uh-huh.
following along, learning how to use the espresso machine, stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
But I haven't gotten the call back yet. It's been a week ago today since I did that.
So you so you need money badly. Is that what you're telling me, or you just
Well, I
need
wouldn't
the
say it.
interactions?
I think just needing money, period, is good. I don't there's you need to add an adjective or adverb.
All right. So you need
Badly,
you need
well,
income.
you
I
know,
understand. I
I need
understand.
money well.
But yeah, you need some source of income, and yeah, working down the street sounds
Well, it'd be nice to
pretty
I
good.
mean, I've got my 22 paid subscribers, right? You're one of them. Thank you for being a part of my board of directors. I'm probably gonna
Um,
lose a couple because of this thing about meanness I was talking about earlier today, the
mhm,
microcosm of the macrocosm.
yeah.
I ended up blocking a couple of my paid subscribers.
You actually know. I'll tell you this: you are my only, or I'm your only. You are my only the only subscription I pay
Yep.
for is yours,
Yeah,
Hal. Actually,
and it's worth it, right? You get your money's worth,
oh,
right?
for sure, for sure,
Tell everybody else
absolutely,
you can
absolutely,
be a
it's worth it.
paid subscriber to heroin.
No doubt about it, man. You get to die just to be the nicest man on Substack. He hearts everything you write, no matter what. Only if you're paid, though.
No, actually, I go through and do that sometimes. Just that I think everybody deserves a heart for just showing up. It's like
That's
that
right.
whole thing. Everybody gets a medal for
That's exactly right.
participation.
You're perfect for today's
I hope you don't feel
youngsters.
devalued. If you get a heart from me, it's just because you showed up
I mean, Hal, your
in
hearts
my
show up
piece.
before I even publish my article. It's like somehow you know it's coming, and the heart is there before the things you publish. I know
Now I'm embarrassed.
somehow you know. You read my mind somehow sometimes.
Well, that's the
Anyway,
thing.
yeah.
Are you familiar with that thing that people do? Like, oh, I think I'm going to call this person.
Hmm.
And then you get
I'm
a
not.
call from that person that you haven't heard from forever because you were thinking about them. It
That happens.
happens.
It does, man. It does. Happens a lot.
Did it happen to you? Give me your
Eh,
story.
I mean, it's not necessarily that's happening, but with my mom, it happens quite often, actually. Me and my mom, we have sort of a connection like that, which is odd because it's just odd. And sometimes I'll be thinking about her and she'll call, or she's thinking about me and I'll call him. But of course, it's probably just coincidence because I think you think about your mom, and your mom thinks about you probably pretty often. So it's not like it's some random weird, never one in a million shot. But it just seems to happen at a more than random rate, I would say. But actually
More
wrote a
than
story
random.
once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote a story once called "I Know This Guy" or something like I don't remember what it was called, but it was about this. I used to do a lot of conference calls and stuff, right, for work. And you'd be on a call and there'd be a person talking, and they'd be giving some talk, some highly technical talk, or whatever the topic was about, and they'd get stuck. And you knew what the person wants to say, like what they're trying to say, and what they would want to say. And I felt like if I would think about it in my head what they should say, and then after they would be stuck for like a nanosecond, and then they would say it. And it would be the exact words that I was thinking in my head. And after a while, I started thinking, man, this is like I have some sort of superpower here. I'm telling these people what to say because it was happening at a rate that was way more than I had would think would be random. And it was just very, very odd. And so I wrote the story about it. About some dude told me a story about it but anyways, I just thought it was really weird. And then it hasn't. When I stopped doing all these conference calls, it kind of stopped happening. But for a time there, I was really into it. Like this is bizarre. So, what what a lame superpower though. Very, very lame. We get people. You can make them say it. You get stuck into a speech that you can say the next word for them. It doesn't get you very far in life.
You just described all of chatbots.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, I guess.
And you're doing it well, probably, and humanly.
Yeah,
So, hey,
yeah.
yeah, sounds like a great. We could, if we could make it consistent, maybe we could take it on the road.
Right.
do it in a
Exactly.
stand-up act or something.
Yes. Right. It would fail every single time. Yeah. It had to be. It was only over the phone. Like in person, I could. It didn't ever really happen. It was only one on these conference calls. On the phone where I'd be somewhere and the person talking was like, wherever they were around the world. It could be anywhere in the world. But in like a personal setting, like a meeting in person, that did not happen. So I don't know, something about the phone connection, which is also quite weird. But
Yep, we are quite weird. I've got somebody justifying the bullshit that went on earlier today that I'm still a little bit twisted about.
uh,
What they're saying, we are a group of individuals with various backgrounds, traumas, insecurities. I'm like, we still got fucking principles we're supposed to practice in all our goddamn affairs, right?
yeah.
I win
Wait,
friends and influence people with this message.
that's a great. That's gonna open you.
Not.
Yeah, that's gonna get you. That's gonna get you a lot of paid subscribers right there.
Well,
Attitudes.
I mean, Jesus, so what are we doing here? I mean, particularly
No,
with
I'm
the
with you.
Jesus thing, right? I mean, didn't
Yeah.
he lay down some precepts where we're supposed to love one another? You know?
Yep.
I
Right.
mean, come on.
Yeah.
You remember The Onion when The Onion used to be fiction?
Yes. Yeah, I know, man. It's like I can't even write a satirical article anymore because it's
Right.
like it's not satire. There's no satire left. Everything's
Well,
so
everybody
ridiculous.
takes you seriously anyway, right? That's why you're
Yeah,
banned from Medium, right?
right, exactly. And the ridiculousness of reality has made it so that you can't even satirize it anymore,
No.
which is sad.
No, but there was a
But
right after 9/11, there was a Onion article that was God angrily clarifies don't kill rule.
that's a good one.
It was a real knee slapper right up there with Mother Teresa consigned to hell and clerical error in heaven right after she died.
Oh man, that's a good one.
And
I
then
think
it
there was
had
one
the
about
reporting of what the devils were doing. You don't wanna know.
I
It was
had
so wrong.
I
And
don't know
then
if
there
there's an
was the
audio.
other one along the lines it happened around the same time, I think, Princess Di's tragic accident, right?
Uh-huh.
You remember that?
I remember the Princess Di. Yes.
Yeah, Princess Di getting crushed in that car, that's really awful. And,
Yeah.
um, The Onion came out with world geopolitical balance strangely unaffected by Princess's death.
And they're so good. It's so good back in the day, man. They had such good. I mean, I just love those. I just love the Onion back then, back in the day. I used to get it
Yeah, I
actually
haven't
delivered.
actually looked at it in e forever, but they actually
Oh, it
have it in the
sucks.
checkout line now, I've seen. No, they
Oh,
have it
really?
in the Barnes& and Noble, and Barnes& and Noble
Really?
newsstand rack right in front of The Economist. They've
Yep.
got The Onion
Yeah. I used to get it
because
delivered to my house in Boston. I lived in Boston a long time ago for a year, and I actually had the Onion delivered, the paper version, to my door,
mm,
which
that's
is hard to
great.
believe.
I have somewhere around here, Our Dumb Century.
Yes, I have that too.
That
The
book,
collection.
that came
Yeah.
out, I split my sides reading that, but you can only really read it once, and then it's not funny anymore. But I did love the ones that Man on the Street interviews. They were always the same people, but they always had
Yeah.
bizarre things to say. They always had different occupations.
Yeah. That's
It's
right.
like,
Area Man. That's Area Man. I use Local Man. He's my version of Area Man because Area Man is trademarked, fully trademarked, been patented by the Onion. Actually, I don't know
"Oh,
if it is or not, but I like to
I
joke that it is. So I use Local Man instead of Area Man.
got it." So you are the local man in Tijuana.
Yeah, right. All
I'm the
right. I got
local
actually
man in Washington,
speaking
DC.
of Local Man, I gotta go, dude. I got a call coming up here
Okay.
for work, so I gotta
Well,
go.
it's
Good
been
talking to you.
fun. I had a good
All right.
time,
All
and
right.
we'll do it again soon, I hope.
Yep.
Everyday Junglist out.
See you, man.
Bye.